Hello there friends! I was planning to release a video after the first matches of Blast, but then Valve decided to provide us with some content, so surprise! Last night the CS2 beta update was released and honestly I had already forgotten about the game. Matchmaking wasn't working and there was nothing to play on, but suddenly there is so much exciting stuff. New bugs and features, roster changes and much more. Let's get straight to it. Surely we will start right away with the update. Last night CS2 had a lot of changes and the main one is that Dust 2 has been replaced with Mirage. Now all the FPL nerds will definitely be satisfied, but let's go through it step by step. The first and the most significant change is the loadout, or should I say buy menu. Now everything works different. Before the match you can customize it. You have 5 slots for each type of weapons and you can rearrange them as you wish. Let's say you're playing as a CT and you want to remove FAMAS because you don't use it, and instead you can equip both M4A1S and M4A4, like having 2 M4s to choose from in a game. So basically you can now customize what you need in the buy menu, and by the way it has changed drastically. No more circular loadouts, everything is strict in the form of a table. You can now choose your 5 favorite pistols and 5 mid-tier guns, which are farm guns and heavy weapons. So previously you had access to around 10 different farm guns and shotguns, but now you have to choose only the 5 most essential ones. And the same goes for rifles. In fact, on the one hand it gives CT players more freedom because you can have 2 different M4s and remove weapons you don't use at all. On the other hand, it limits you because there are only 7 rifles available and you have to choose only 5 of them. So regardless, you'll have to give up something, even if you choose just one M4. For example, Monte didn't particularly appreciate this format.
Я не понимаю, как тут закупаться, честно. Я пока не могу клавиши понять. Как-то можно старое меню включить? Вы знаете, как можно было в старое меню включать в 1.6? Там, знаете, новое меню можно было.
But that's not all. The coolest thing is that now you can sell everything you bought. Misclicks are officially cancelled. So you accidentally bought armor in the pistol round. Pfft, just give the money back and, like a real gangster, buy a Desert Eagle in the first round. That's how we roll. What I didn't like the most is that you have to set everything up again in the inventory. I thought Valve would keep the weapons you usually buy with all the skins and simply reset them to default. But for the first 20 minutes of the game I was just sitting there reconfiguring my buy menu. Valve also mentioned that they made some changes to their tick rate system. It requires a detailed understanding, but in short everything should be even smoother now, with better shot registration. I personally haven't tested it yet, but they say it has indeed become slightly smoother. I'll share my impressions in the next video. They also, for some reason, added difficulty ratings for each weapon. For example, the Scout, Desert Eagle, Flashbang and Zeus are the most challenging items to play with. Previously, CSGO used to provide statistics, but now it's much simpler. 1 star for an easy weapon, 3 stars for a very difficult one to shoot with. Speaking of which, the Desert Eagle has been significantly changed. Now it has much easier recoil, which means that you can win force buy rounds even more frequently now. So I think we have to get used to being clicked with wild Desert Eagle headshots every round. They also introduced a new Valve anti-cheat system where if a cheater is banned during a match, the game will immediately end and it won't affect any ranks. And the most important thing, they made some changes to smoke grenades. According to comments, the dispersion time of smoke after explosive grenades blast has been reduced, while shotguns still leave bigger holes. I quickly tested it, but I didn't see a significant difference, to be honest. But I think the most important addition is the feature that Simple requested. Now let's talk about Mirage. The lightning has changed significantly, but essentially everything else remains the same. However, Monte has already found some bugs.
You see, it's almost...
Actually, I lied. There are indeed some changes. First, snipers in apartments have slightly reduced visibility now. Also, due to the new smokes, many popular one-ways, such as the one in the connector, no longer work. It's also much easier now to smoke the window, as it's just bigger, making it harder to miss. So now basically if you miss by a few pixels, just don't worry, it still covers everything. But the main highlight here is, of course, shooting through the vent.
Ilya, come here! Come here! Блядь, it's Liat! Look, look! It's good, no? What the fuck? It's good, нахуй. Что good? Что нахуй? It's insane. It's good, bro. It was in most boring shit when I see the guy here, I shoot. Yeah, you don't kill him. Yeah, don't kill him. It's good.
Also, now you can't jump on Ninja, which is strange, and some boost spots work differently or don't work at all. People have found numerous bugs and strange issues just a few hours after the update, but that's what the beta is for people to find problems and prevent them from reaching the release. Although, knowing Valve, half of these issues will probably remain. In the next video I will gather even more reactions from pro players, as well as will show you many other bugs and so on, so don't forget to subscribe. And here's what Monte says.
Бля, игра говна.
And now let's move to other news. We've had enough of CS2, now let's discuss what's happening in the pro scene. There are various topics to talk about. For example, it seems that Fallen is definitely leaving Imperial and will join another Brazilian team, although it's unclear which one. First of all, the owner of Furia officially confirmed that they will meet with Fallen to discuss everything. Rumors suggest that they also might sign Fair, but that's not all. According to Brazilian media, in addition to Furia, Pain Gaming has also entered the race to acquire Fallen. Now that's what I call respect for a legend. The best Brazilian teams are chasing after the young and talented 32 years old Fallen, while some players at 27 or 28 are already sitting and wondering where to find motivation. This legend shows what true love for CS is. I'm almost certain he will join Furia, but let's see, things might change. Monte has already reacted to this potential transfer in an interview with the Enemy. I think it would be insane. If Fallen joins Furia, firstly they will have a lot of fans and a lot of support, and I think it would be a good move for Fallen because he can teach young players. I don't know if Drop will stay in Furia in such a scenario, but I feel that Fallen can teach anyone. He has a lot of experience in the game and everyone dreams of playing with him. Fallen is my favorite player. If I had the opportunity, I would love to play with him. So, well, now we're waiting for Monte to join Furia, right? Moving on, we have some unexpected substitutions in Monte. They teased on their social media that a big announcement would soon happen. Many thought that this news would be related to Boros, but it turned out to be something entirely different. It appears that a replacement is needed for SDY, but a temporary one. It seems that SDY is taking a small break from CS, and for the upcoming tournaments he will be replaced by two players. First, it will be Marex, a former player from the OF Academy, and then Kakanito, a former player from ATK. These are only temporary stand-ins for certain championships, or at least that's what Monte says. What actually happens, we'll see. Maybe Navi was impressed by how SDY dominated them at the major and will make him their captain. Okay, that's all a joke, but we'll talk about Navi later. And a little more on Monte. It seems that the Ministry of Youth and Sports of Ukraine has stated their sanctions. Remember when I told you that Monte and B8 didn't return to the country on time and no one knew what consequences they might face? Well, according to Anton Markelov, the director of the Ukrainian Esports Federation, yes, he's the brother of the legendary Markelov, these players have been excluded from the national team and they will no longer be able to travel abroad with the support of the Esports Federation. Now, I assume it will be very difficult for them to participate in international events, so it seems that B8 and Monte will be without Tier 1 lands for the near future. After such news, Boros' departure becomes even more logical, but let's see, maybe something will change and Monte will regain permission to compete internationally. By the way, IKLA replaced them as the national team. Waro2k was very upset about this and he wrote this on social media. What nonsense is this? How could IKLA be chosen for the Ukrainian national team? Did they buy the slot or something? Now I understand why Ukrainian CS doesn't develop very quickly. Honestly, many players in Ukraine could be in the national team, but IKLA is definitely not one of them. So buying and selling slots is complete stupidity for me. There's no other way to describe it. Even if only a Ukrainian team is needed, IKLA is nowhere near B8. I don't care about this tournament, but the fact that we have either idiots or corruption in CS annoys me greatly. IKLA's CEO responded to this, saying that Waro2k should either provide evidence that they bought the slot or apologize. So all of this is just basically major scandals, and now it may also lead to reshuffles. We'll keep an eye on the situation. And now let's discuss a whole bunch of rumors. Firstly, there is news from Harumi once again. He writes that Navi will definitely have roster changes and now it's irreversible, but it's still unclear whether it will involve Blade or NPL. According to his information, it's more likely to be the former, meaning Blade will be shifted to a new role. From what I've heard, they might bring him back as the sports director. He will manage the players, their schedules, assist the coach with tactics, work with the youth team, and so on. Friends, what do you think would be better, remove Blade or NPL? Write your thoughts in the comments below. The next piece of inside information is about Virtus Pro. Harumi once again writes that Kickert will definitely be removed from the team. He will continue to play for VP simply because they have yet to find a fifth player. VP tested numerous players and apparently none of them have been the right fit for Jame. And here comes another insider, Jonas. He was the first one to start talking about changes in Navi a week ago, so he writes that VP has already decided on their fifth player. And it will be definitely Inters, there is no other option. And here's where things got heated up. Harumi responded to him saying that that's all fake. VP did test Inters, but he didn't fit the team. Then they tried playing with several other candidates and eventually stuck with Kickert for now, simply because they couldn't find a suitable player. So we have two different insights about the same team. We'll have to wait for official news, I guess. Let's move on to more insights. Nell shared some information about the recent major in Paris. It turns out there was supposed to be a 3v3 show match featuring Neymar and Gaules, but apparently someone couldn't make it. It's a pity, I think it would have been super hyped. The next piece of news is about Blast. As you know, the finals of the spring series start today, and Exile and Drops complained about the organizer. They have 240Hz monitors in their practice rooms, but they will be playing official matches on 360Hz monitors. Well, it seems like a usual complaint from pro players, it happens at every tournament, but Loba shared a bit more information. It was same at Aramar. By the way, he's gonna have a problem now for speaking publicly. Allegedly, they have contracts which don't allow them to speak negatively even if it's true. It has to be talked only internally. Another point is that Cloud9 doesn't have a partnership with Blast, so it's possible that Exile still wants to play regardless. But what's more interesting is that such a clause exists in the first place. And today's last piece of news is about the ongoing scandals involving G2 and their sponsor CSGO Roll. As you remember, they held an event at the Major where anyone could spin a gaming slot machine and get a skin or not get one. In case you didn't know, there was even a strike by a guy who lost his home to roulettes. There was hate comments in the comment section and so on. But now the event attendees showed up and they launched a new wave of hate. Many who won skins in the machine were promised to receive them within a week. Now it has been over 2 weeks and nothing happened. So even at their own separate event, G2's sponsor apparently scammed the participants, or at least that's what people are writing in the comments. Another scandal involving G2's sponsor. Friends, that's all from me. We're starting to watch Blast and there's a lot of great matches waiting. Well, I won't say goodbye for a long time. See you soon.